Milo the Magic Globe, Ben and Lila's Virginia Voyage. Story. One breezy afternoon, Ben and Lila sat cross-legged around Milo the Magic Globe, feeling the familiar tingle of adventure in the air. "Where are we off to today, Milo?" Lila asked excitedly. Milo's glowing surface sparkled. "Buckle up. Today's adventure will take us through the mountains, coastlines, and colonial towns of Virginia." With a swirl of stardust and a whoosh, the trio landed at a wide stone plaza. A grand statue of George Washington stood in the center, surrounded by a historic Capitol building and cobbled streets. "Welcome to Richmond," boomed a cheerful voice. A woman in a tricorn hat stepped forward, holding a map and a satchel of books. "I'm Miss Addie, your guide to all things Virginia." Ben's eyes widened. "This place feels important." "It is," said Miss Addie. "This is the capital of Virginia, and once the capital of the Confederacy during the Civil War. Let's start at the Virginia State Capitol, designed by Thomas Jefferson himself." They explored the Capitol building, strolled along Monument Avenue, and then hopped aboard a riverboat along the James River, where Miss Addie told stories of tobacco trade, Native American tribes, and the Powhatan Confederacy. Next stop, Colonial Williamsburg. Miss Addie led them down streets filled with costumed reenactors. Williamsburg was once the capital of the Virginia colony. They watched a blacksmith at work, listened to a drum and fife parade, and visited a recreated colonial schoolhouse. From there, Milo whisked them to Mount Vernon, the riverside home of George Washington. He loved farming, architecture, and even had a working distillery. Miss Addie explained. Ben whispered, "It's like walking through a history book." But adventure awaited. Suddenly, the globe shimmered again, and they landed at the entrance to Luray Caverns in the Shenandoah Valley. "We've been getting strange echoes and light flashes deep underground," said a park ranger. "Some say it's just the great stalactite organ acting up, but others aren't so sure." Deep in the cave, Ben spotted ancient carvings. These symbols, they're not just random. They match old Native American patterns. Miss Addie nodded. This land was once home to the Monacan Nation. These could be messages, or warnings. With Milo's help, the group decoded the message: "Respect the earth, and the earth will protect you." Suddenly, a soft light pulsed from the walls and the caverns hummed with harmony, an ancient energy awakened only by those who listened with care. Their final stop. Virginia Beach, where the Atlantic sparkled and dolphins danced. They visited the Cape Henry Lighthouse, where the first English settlers arrived in 1607, even before Jamestown. Miss Addie clapped her hands. "Before we wrap up this trip, we must explore Virginia's coastal treasures." Next stop, the historic Triangle. With a shimmer, Milo transported the crew to Yorktown, where the wind smelled of sea salt and history. Yorktown. "This," Miss Addie announced proudly, "is where the Revolutionary War came to an end in 1781. They stood on the Yorktown battlefield, where cannons once roared." Ben and Lila explored the Victory Monument, then watched a reenactment of Cornwallis surrendering to George Washington. "Freedom was sealed right here," Miss Addie said. Hampton Roads. Next, they zipped over to the Hampton Roads region, a vast harbor area where 5 cities meet, including Hampton and Norfolk. Hampton Roads is one of the world's largest natural harbors, Miss Addie explained. And it played a major role in the Civil War, especially the Battle of the Ironclads. Ben pointed to a statue. "Is that the USS Monitor and the CSS Virginia?" "Exactly," she beamed. They changed naval warfare forever. Norfolk. Their final stop was Norfolk, home to the largest naval base in the world, Naval Station Norfolk. At the Nauticus Museum, they boarded the USS Wisconsin, a massive battleship. Lila gasped, "This thing is huge." "It helped protect America for decades," Miss Addie nodded. "And Norfolk remains vital to U.S. naval operations to this day." They ended their journey at the Chrysler Museum of Art, where Lila marveled at blown glass and maritime paintings. Back with Milo, Miss Addie said, "Virginia isn't just about history, it's about how that history shapes the future." Ben and Lila grinned as they soared home through time and space. Ben laughed, "We saw mountains, rivers, caverns, battlefields, and beaches, all in one state." Miss Addie smiled. "That's Virginia, history, mystery, and natural beauty." As they held on to Milo for the ride home, Lila whispered, "That was more than a vacation. That was a voyage through time."